Good evening. Thank you, Bob. Again, good evening. I'm very proud to be here tonight with the Campaign for America's Future. Take Back America Conference has always been called America's annual progressive convention. I am very excited to be here with the grassroots advocates, the bloggers, the policy wonks, the political organizers, the artists, the writers, the elected officials, and the people who help put them in office or send them packing. Now, we all have different roles to play, but we have one thing in common. We represent America's new majority, the progressive majority, and don't forget that. When Bob and Roger asked me to MC this wonderful gala, I accepted in a New York minute. That's where I live, New York. First of all, because I love Norman Lear. I didn't know, and I hope you don't mind, he flew 52 combat missions in World War II. And he's been defending Americans' freedoms ever since. You can see Norman's spirit, and let's call it by the right name, the spirit of liberty, in the organization that Norman founded, People for the American Way. Well, mark me down as a person for the American way, who is proud to serve on their board, contribute to their cause, and help take on the far right when it's dead wrong. Tonight, we are honoring several prominent progressives, each of whom want to conserve the best of America and make it better. Not like that crew of crazy right-wingers here in Washington, who brought us the Iraq War, the credit crisis, the recession, the shamefully incompetent response to Katrina, and of course, Enron and Halliburton. They have driven our nation into a ditch, and they keep backing up and doing the same thing over and over again. Now, we can't let them keep their hands on the steering wheel because, well, you know, their right hand just doesn't know what their far right hand is doing. When I read that President Bush has some of the lowest public approval ratings in history, I am reminded of the fundamental good sense of the American people. But no, well. Maybe I shouldn't be all that negative about George W. Bush. We do have some things in common. I was an accidental tourist, and he is an accidental president. I directed Crimes of the Heart. He directed Crimes of Halliburton. I wasn't actually in the movie called Clueless, but yeah, you get the idea. We also have very important differences. When I was 48, I went naked in The Graduate on stage. Oh, thank you. Now, the media made a huge deal out of it. But when it comes to Bush's foreign and domestic policies, he resembles the emperor with no clothes. With notable exceptions, the media has not had the courage to call him out. But the people in this room have had that courage. And once we all spoke up, the whole country did too. And I am very, very proud to be here with you. My friends tell me that last year's Take Back America conference was the best ever. This one's going to be even more exciting because we are really getting ready to make history. And the people you will hear from tonight are heroes. And so are each and every one of you, because you are doing the tireless and too often thankless task of work that will take back America for the majority of its people, the highest of its founding principles, and the very best hope for our common future. So, give yourselves a well-deserved round of applause. You should probably give yourself a little more, but okay. To present the Paul Wellstone Citizen Leadership Award, please welcome the President of the Apollo Alliance, Jerome Ringo.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you to Bob Borsage and Roger Hickey. You guys have done it again, and you continue. Thank you so much. The Paul Wellstone Citizens Leadership Award is presented each year to those whose accomplishments and achievements reflect Wellstone's work as an organizer, an educator, and as an activist for progressive initiatives and organization. I am so honored tonight. I have the honor of introducing to you the winners of this year's Paul Wellstone Citizens Leadership Award. In 1996, a person that I truly admire, a person that I am just so honored to call my friend, founded the Ella Baker Center for Human Rights, named for the unsung civil rights heroine. The center was started to create positive alternatives to violence and incarceration. In 2003, the center's Books Not Bars campaign helped block the construction of a costly and controversial super jail for youths near Oakland, California. Since that victory, Books Not Bars has helped reduce California's overall youth prison population by more than 30%. But in 2005, things changed. And my dear friend Van Jones saw the urgent need to expand the mission of his work. And after the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina in my home state of Louisiana, Van helped to found colorofchange.org, an online advocacy organization with more than 100,000 members. Color of Change is now the nation's biggest e-advocacy organization tackling black issues. But Van Jones was not blind to the larger problems facing our cities. He also took the great opportunity to remake our communities, remake our country, and remake the world. He linked the crisis in New Orleans to the challenge of global warming. He connected the dots between the way we use energy and the input it had on local communities. But most importantly, he saw how tackling that problem could create jobs in the places people needed them most and uplift whole communities. He created the Oakland Apollo Alliance to create a real-world example as how things could really be done. His work has made him one of the leading voices on green jobs, a voice that echoes in the halls of Congress and from the mouths of presidential hopefuls. The second recipient is another individual that I'm very proud to know, a great American who I also call a dear friend. Born, raised, and continuing to live and work in the South Bronx, Majora Carter traveled the world in pursuit of resources to improve the quality of life in her environmentally challenged community. She founded Sustainable South Bronx in 2001 after writing a $1.25 million federal transportation grant designed to design the South Bronx Greenway with 11 miles of bike and pedestrian paths connecting neighborhoods to the rivers and to each other, securing over $20 million to begin construction in 2008. She has created riverfront parks and green roofs, dramatically increased the number of trees in the South Bronx, worked to remove the underused expressways in favor of positive economic development, and successfully implemented one of the nation's first urban green-collar job training efforts, the Bronx Environmental Stewardship Training Program. Seeding her community with skilled green-collar workforce that has both a personal and economic stake in their urban environment. Her vision, her drive, her tenacity earned her the MacArthur Genius Grant, a place on the New York Governor Spitzer Energy and Environmental Transition Team, be nice. The Clinton Global Initiative Poverty Panel, the New York NYU Martin Luther King Jr. Award for Humanitarian Service, and the National Audubon Society's Rachel Carson Award. She started 2007 as one of Newsweek magazine's 25 to Watch, was named one of 50 most influential women in New York City by the New York Post that summer, and ended the year as one of Essence magazine's 25 most influential African Americans. But now the bad guys have a real problem. The two have joined forces. In 2007, they came together with a dozen allies to create Green for All, as an organization committed to building a green economy strong enough to lift people out of poverty. They have proven in their communities efforts to curb global warming and oil dependency can simultaneously create good jobs, safer streets, and a healthier community. And now they're taking the message nationally. Their work has already borne fruit. For the first time in history, the United States Senate and the House of Representatives both authorized legislation that addresses climate crisis and poverty crisis by passing the Green Jobs Act of 2007. That bill will direct $125 million annually for greening the nation's workforce, including job training for 35,000 people each year. I can think of no two individuals who more embody the spirit of Paul Wellstone. Ladies and gentlemen, Majora Carter and Van Jones, I present to you this year's Paul Wellstone Citizens Leadership Award.
That's nice. But I got to tell you, this is reminding me of, oops. Excuse me, like the very first time I ever cried in a movie, which was, I was in my late 20s, and I was watching Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. And I gotta tell you, I didn't know that people like that actually really existed. Thought they were all make-believe. And then I started hearing about this senator from Minnesota named Paul Wellstone. He stood up for what he believed in whenever he could, and he admitted mistakes whenever he made them. And he cared. And if I always remember to do those three things, if we can always remember to do those three things, we'll be on the road to continuing his legacy. When I was growing up in the South Bronx, I didn't know there were people like Paul Wellstone and out there fighting for, and in particular with me, with people like me. By the time he'd been elected to Senate in 93, I had graduated from college and had sworn never to return to the South Bronx. But by placing my work alongside Senator Wellstone's with this award, I am both deeply honored, but also challenged to push harder, to work towards our common goals with more intelligence, and channel my justifiable anger and outrage at the things that I have to see happening into positive actions that'll build something bigger than either me or Van or me and Van, which is pretty daggone cool, mind you, or even everybody in this room together. My hope is that this year is not just one of incremental change in America, but of a major shift that enables us as a country to really strive for what we believe in, admit our mistakes, because they are all partly our mistakes, and for everyone, every single last one of us to really, really care. Care for the people on your block, across town, the ones that you don't see, or around the world. Care for the environment and all the ways we're connected to it, and care about the short time we have in this world, and make it count, not just for people like us here tonight. Let's help those who have given up to start to care about themselves again, and unlock the gifts that I know everyone has to offer. Van and I are able to help keep pushing ourselves to do our work because of the love we feel in rooms like this. Even though there's a crisis always a mile or two from wherever we go. Because you guys, you remind me that America is as good as its promise. Now, we need you to help us bring more people into rooms, more rooms like this, and help us let folks know that people do really care, and that we want to make sure everyone is included in the great times that I absolutely know are available for us all right now. And I got to tell you, at this point, I do want to take this opportunity to thank Van for recognizing and acknowledging me as a black woman and modeling the kind of behavior, the kind of attitude that one should have toward a fellow warrior in this struggle. Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Let's give Majora Carter another round of applause. She's an extraordinary leader. She is the Rosa Parks of our time. She is the, yeah. I hope it's obvious just looking at her and listening to her. She's somebody, you know, Montgomery wasn't the biggest city in the South. It's a small town, and back then it was small enough you could almost walk across it. But it had brilliant leadership in Rosa Parks, and it had a beautiful idea for this country. And when Rosa Parks stood up and helped that community stand up, it sent a ripple around the world. That's what Majora Carter is doing in the South Bronx. The South Bronx is a Montgomery of the new century, and she deserves our full support as she moves forward, showing what can be done in this country. I also want to honor her partner in crime, James Chase. I want to honor my mentor, Joel Rogers. I want to honor my colleagues, Jason here, Jason and Perrin and the whole Green for All team. We are committed. We made a decision that we will build a green economy in this country, and it will be a green economy that is strong enough to lift millions of people out of poverty. As we build this pro-democracy movement, for too long we've been at the margins. We've been preparing to protest. We've been preparing to critique. This country is not looking for a movement to critique it. This country is looking for a movement that can inspire it. And that is what we are trying to build. That's what we're trying to build. So as we begin to move now from the margin to the center, from the margin to the center of politics, from the margin to the center of economics and culture, as we begin to move from the margin to the center, we have to ask and answer one question. Who will this pro-democracy movement take with it, and who will it leave behind? Who will we take with us, and who will we leave behind? Majora and I work in communities where you can't show children when they're 3 years old flowers or balloons, because they will start to cry, because they will think it's another sidewalk memorial or another funeral in the neighborhood. We go to work in communities where children are sitting in classrooms, 30, 34 kids in a classroom, 6 books, 1 teacher, no chalk, no toilet paper. But if they get into a push and shove in the hallway, they don't go to the principal's office. They go to the precinct in handcuffs. It's called a strike. We want to say to those young people that, yes, we're going to build a green economy, but we have a new definition for a green economy. In our green economy, we don't say that, we do say that we don't have any throwaway species, we don't have any throwaway resources, we don't have any throwaway continents, but we don't have any throwaway children either. And they count, and they're a part of this. They're a part of this green economy that we're building. So as we build this green economy and give these young people all across urban America the tools and the technology and the training to retrofit a nation, to retrofit, reboot, re-energize a nation, to put up millions of solar panels, that's millions of jobs, to weatherize millions of homes and buildings, that's millions of jobs, thousands of contracts, to plant millions of trees. As we give those young people the tools and the training and the technology to be the new icons of the environmental movement, with green hard hats and lunch pails, going to work to fix America, as we build that movement, we will be able to say that America, the United States of America, is now once again the leader of the world, but not the leader in war, not the leader in pollution, not the leader in incarceration rates. The United States of America can lead the world in building a green and clean economy and bringing a rainbow nation together, every race, every faith, to show a rainbow world how to do it. When we do that, when we build that kind of a movement, this gathering, this pro-democracy phenomenon we're creating will do more than take America back. We are going to take America forward. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.